Welcome to Gustavo Preston Company's video series on customizing your NAV 2013 role-tailored client. This video is about customizing your navigation pane. Your navigation pane is here on the left, and it consists of, at the bottom, one or more groups or buttons, and in those groups you have a number of different items. You can actually add groups here, and you can add items to those groups. That's what we'll be talking about. The first thing you need to do, as in all customization activities, is go open your back office by clicking on this blue button and going down to Customize. And then we're going to customize the navigation pane. So click on that. So right here we have some navigation pane buttons. Right now I have Home, Posted Documents, and Departments, and each of those contains different things. So there are a couple of different customizations we can do. The first thing you can do is you can add your own navigation pane button or group. Simply click New, and it will ask you to select a name and an icon. So the icon, it doesn't really matter. If it helps you do that, that's great. It just chooses nav icons. So I'm going to choose a briefcase icon. At least I think that's a briefcase. And the name, I'm going to call this Randy's button. Actually, I'm just going to call it Randy. That'll make it easier. And hit OK. Now notice that there is nothing in that button. If I click on Home, there's something in the button Randy, there's not. It's because I've just created the button. So I come over here to List and I click on Add, and then here are the things that we can add. So think about the current version of NAV. You have sales and marketing, you have service, you have customer management, you have resource planning and purchasing. These are the things you're familiar with. So let's say that I want to add some stuff because I need to access purchasing. So I click on the Purchase Plus button and expand it. Order processing. Once again, this is a similar group as we're used to in NAV 2009. We come down here and I say I want to add purchase orders to the list. So I hit OK. And there we go. Purchase orders is now part of my list. So in addition to accessing purchase orders, I'd like to add more stuff. So I say I go into here. Let's say I need to access administration. I need to access user setup. That's something I do a lot of. So I add that there. And another thing that I happen to do is I work with sales quotes a lot. So I go into sales and marketing, order processing, and sales quotes. I hit OK. Now let's say I use sales quotes more than anything else. If I click on sales quotes and use the move up button, it will bring that to the top. So that works. The other thing is I can go over to this button and I say, you know, I want my Randy button to be the thing that's at the top. So I can't move it to the top because Home is always going to be at the top. But I could move it down if I wanted to. I also noticed that you also notice that the Departments is always going to be at the bottom. So I've moved my button where I want it to be. So I've added a button and I've added some lists, some things to that button. I can also go to the Home button and say I would also like to add something else. Maybe I want to add, let's go to Service, Contract Management. Let's say I want to add service contracts to that. And you see I have service contracts now appeared on my Home button. So I've made the changes I want. I click OK. It will say my changes have been saved and we'll have to restart. So I'm going to hit restart right now. It was a fairly quick restart. And so here I am in my Home button. And look, service contracts appears. If I click on service contracts, there we go. So now if service contracts is important to me, then I have access to it with a single click instead of having to click a number of different places. Also, you'll notice that I have my Randy button down here at the bottom. I click here, and there we go. I have my sales quotes, my purchase orders, and my user setup. All of this with just a couple of clicks away. So the other thing that you can do, if I go into my home button, let's say that I no longer need to access service contracts, and I don't want to see that there because it wastes the space. I can go in, click on the blue button, the back office, select customize. Oh, excuse me. I want to go back to my role center, excuse me. Role center, blue button, customize, customize the navigation pane, and then see I've selected the home button, and then down at the bottom is service contracts. I simply hit remove, and it's done. So I hit OK. It will restart my nav client, and service contracts is gone. The last thing to do to show you is I'm going to click on departments. Departments is how you access the hierarchical structure, the folder structure of what we're familiar with our current nav. So let's see, I've decided that in addition to service contracts, I also need to do service quotes. So I click on service, I click on order processing, and here's a list of all the lists. Any list should be able to be added to the navigation pane. So I want to add service quotes. So instead of clicking on lists, which brings up the list, what I want to do is right click. And when right click, it says add to navigation pane. So I select that. It says changes have been saved, you need to restart. Go ahead and click yes. It restarts it, and there's service quotes. So that's another way you can add things. So my recommendation to you is that you spend some time working with the customization of the navigation pane, getting it to be how you want. The things that you access all the time should be here on this list, either in your home button or in a custom button that you made. It's up to you. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. This concludes the video on customizing your navigation pane.